been 2 or 3 months since the last time that I collabed with Rashad over a musical, but we're back at it again today, talking about a little film you might recognize as Tick, Tick, Boom. Tick, Tick, Boom is a true story about a man named Jonathan Larson, who one day will write the famous Broadway musical Rent, but before that, he was a struggling, down on his luck musical writer that is getting closer and closer to a deadline for writing the perfect song for his upcoming musical, all the while trying to live a normal life, work a normal job, have a normal relationship with his girlfriend. But time's running out, his workshop's just around the corner, and every day he can feel it. He can feel that tick, that tick. Boom! First and foremost, gotta thank Rashad for joining me one last time for talking about a musical. I know it hasn't been the greatest journey for you, but it's been interesting hearing your thoughts on all these films, on what you thought were, some positives, and of course, your negatives with all the movies. And I was really curious on what you thought about this one, given the fact that neither you nor I had seen it before, but we had heard plenty about it. In terms of recent musicals that people rant and rave about, this was definitely on that list. I couldn't even tell you why I didn't watch it until now. Life gets in the way. But anyways, Rashad, thank you for joining me again. We'll be hearing his thoughts on Tick, Tick, Boom in just a hot second. But first, let's hear my thoughts on Tick, Tick, Boom. Tick, 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 boom! I was thoroughly impressed with this film. I had a lot of fun with it, given the fact that I never saw Rent before. I've only heard the one song that Rent's known for, and maybe that was one of the main reasons why I never really watched it until now. I felt like I needed to watch Rent in order to understand this guy's life. But I guess that's not true because I still haven't seen Rent. But I will tell you that after watching Tick, Tick, Boom, I want to see Rent. This character, Jonathan Larson, and the way that he sees the world, and the way that he sees and hears music with literally everything that surrounds him on a day-to-day basis, is so incredibly unique and beautiful and poetic in a way. And it makes the core story of this film that much more interesting, given the fact that he can write a song about anything. There's a moment in this film where he's like, the other day I wrote a song about sugar. It took me 3 hours. And the plot of the story is he has writer's block on this one song that he's supposed to write for his upcoming musical. And throughout the entire film, he just can't manage to write a single word for it. I thought that was really cool because when it comes down to most true story films, the one thing that always kind of bothers me is the fact that there's almost never a real plot. We usually just watch people live their life and experience things. That's typically what true stories do. It's kind of like coming of age. There's not usually a story goal or a story driver, but there is here. The story goal in Tick, Tick, Boom is this song that the character is trying to write throughout the film and going through all these obstacles to try to figure it out. Why is that so important to me all the time? Because without it, there is no story consequence. There's no answer to the question, why does this story have to be told right now? Why are we starting the story right now? What happens if the story goal isn't met right now? If there is no story goal, then obviously there is no consequence. We're just watching somebody live their life and it is what it is. And to me, it's not interesting enough. No matter how interesting the character is, it's not interesting enough for me to call it a perfect story unless it has all of these elements. To me, Tick, Tick, Boom's one of the very few true story films I've ever seen in my entire life that has all of the necessary narrative components. But past that, when you're just taking a look at literally everything else in the movie, I mean, there's almost nothing to complain about here. The performance by Andrew Garfield is insanely good. And it's not only just good, it feels like he's possessed. Like you're not watching Andrew Garfield. He gets so engrossed in this neurotic character of Jonathan Larson that you see Andrew Garfield, I suppose, like his face, but what he's doing and what he's saying and how he's saying it and how he's singing, it's not Andrew Garfield. This is Jonathan Larson that we're looking at. And Rashad's gonna talk about this in a little bit, and I agree with him about being a YouTuber in general. Fighting the fight, trying to get recognized, trying to be noticed. We can connect to Jonathan Larson's character. How about the songs? Do I love every song in the movie? Will I remember every single one when I hear them again? I'm actually not sure, though I do think that they're all unique and they're all a lot of fun to listen to in the moment. So it's hard to say. I can't answer that right now. I guess I'll have to watch it again a little bit down the line to see if I did in fact remember everything. Honestly, I have to stop myself. I could go on and on and on. For right now, we're gonna hear what Rashad has to say about Tick, Tick, Boom. Take it away, man.
Yeah, very rarely does a movie leave me speechless after watching, and this is one of those times. So, Dave, this ends our musical trilogy of films that you picked out for me, and you saved the best for last, bro. I'm just gonna come out with it. Tick Tick Boom was a fucking great experience, man. Like, if I could sum up what I'm feeling right now is,
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
yeah. Yeah, man, the dog. Okay, I've heard about this movie last year when it came out. I heard good things about it. Andrew Garfield got an Oscar nomination and everything. And after watching it, I said, "Yo," I said, "Who beat him? Who beat him for the Oscar?"
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah, it is Will Smith. So, all right, you know what? Hey, you can't win them all. But look, had it not been for Will Smith, I think he would have took this award home easily. Andrew Garfield gave a tour de force performance, and from the moment this movie opened up, I was all in. Now, mind you, I might have had a mild hangover when I woke up this morning, so I was a little out of it. Brain is all fogged up, and I watched on the laptop, put my headphones on. I'm like halfway asleep, and the moment I press play, the first bit of dialogue that comes out of his mouth, I woke right up. I said, "Oh shit, okay, yeah." Just a ball of energy from beginning to end. He was in like the Michael Jordan zone. He was like, I don't know, like he was able to transcend. He was able to dig something out of him. I don't know. Maybe this was a passion project. I've never seen him act like this before. But then again, I haven't seen a whole lot of his movies besides Social Network and the Spider-Man movies. But man, he acted his ass off, and the supporting cast also contributed. The best friend Michael gave a very heartfelt performance. I believe their relationship is being best friends, and also the girlfriend Susan, who is I call Great Value Storm from the X-Men movies. Well, the newer X-Men movies, I couldn't stand her as Storm, but she was great in this one. I thought she and Andrew Garfield worked well together. So everything about this movie worked. And Dave, you know I'm not the biggest fan of musicals, but if you can really entertain me, then I will buy it. So yes, I may not can remember some songs in this movie, man, but because it worked so well, I was in. I enjoyed it. I was entertained. My heart broke a few times, and I can relate to this. You know, I'm a sucker for an underdog story, like a Rocky-esque story. Like some of my favorite movies are Rocky and The Karate Kid, so I love an underdog story, and this is no exception. Like I just, you know, because I feel like an underdog myself. I'm a struggling YouTuber with a potty mouth that nobody really knows about, but I love doing this. I love talking movies. I love networking with my YouTube brothers like yourself, Dave. So I can relate to this shit, but right now YouTube's not making me no money. So of course you gotta do what you gotta do to put food on the table. And I am a terrible employee. I hate working. That's why I'm a freelance work. I do Uber and DoorDash and stuff like that. That's how I make a living for myself. I don't do too bad, but I'm not living in fucking luxury either. So one of my favorite scenes in the movie was when Jonathan goes to Michael's apartment and he sees how Michael's living. Now Michael also was a struggling actor. You know, he had to give up his dreams of performing to get a job to provide for himself. So it's like, you know, you got to the crooked with the straights. Like he had to give up his dream, but he's living a luxurious lifestyle, but he's not really happy. And Jonathan, on the other hand, is like, damn, I want this, but I'm not trying to go to the corporate world. And that's me all the way, 100%. Like doing what I do for a living, I deliver to different mansions and stuff. Sometimes I'm like, wow, how can I live in a place like this? You know, like I see these beautiful houses, and then I come back home to my little, you know, little rinky-dink one-bedroom apartment where the walls are paper thin. You can hear the neighbors fighting, frying chicken or whatever. And it's like, damn, I want that. So I'm always a sucker for a story like this, and it worked from beginning to end. I have no negatives about this movie at all. Like, you know, even if I try to put my critic hat on and try to figure out something, no, there's never a dull moment. All the musical numbers to me worked. All the performances were on point. The direction, the pacing it was a fast pace, but not so fast where it loses you. It's paced just perfectly where it never loses your interest. And yes, I'm notorious for falling asleep on movies. This one's no exception, okay? I'm in my recliner, okay? I'm in my recliner. I'm reclining back. I'm comfortable. I'm an old head, okay? I'm 43 years old, so I will take little old man naps every now and then. But here's the thing. Though I dozed off, you know what I did? I rewound it back. Well, whatever way. I rewound it back, and I watched what I missed. That's how much I was into this story, how much I was into this. So Dave, I'm not gonna take a lot of time, bro, because I don't know what you think about this movie, bro, but I'm just assuming that you really dug it. So I know if you really dug it, I know you're gonna have a lot to say about it, bro. So I'm not gonna take much time at all. Just want to come and give my 2 cents. I dug this movie. I thought it was really entertaining. You know, got choked up a couple of times. I'm even bopping my head to some of the musical numbers, and I'm relating to it. And by the time it was over with, I wanted more. Sometimes with these musicals, with movies that I'm not really into, I'm like, damn, this needs a hurry up and end. I did not feel that. I wanted to see more of the story. So when it gets, I'm assuming you're getting into spoilers. So when it gets to the point where he kind of reconciles with his girlfriend, and him and Mike, you know, that they make up and everything, and it's like, then it cuts to, okay, by the way, yeah, he wrote this play and he wrote that play afterwards, and then he died. And it's like, no, I want to see more of the story. You know what I'm saying? I guess if I can have a negative, is that like, no, I want to see more of this. I wanted to see the process of when he wrote Rent, and you know, how did he pull himself back up? Because the movie kind of ended with him on a not on a downswing, but he was like I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna try to figure it out. All I have now is questions. And she's like, okay, well, you know, that's a start. Okay, so I want to see what happened. Like, how did he bounce back? But I know they can only do so much for one movie. But yeah, y'all, wrapping it up, I give, I almost called the movie Rent. What's this called? I give Tick, Tick, Boom an A. If I watched this last year, this would have easily made my top 10 of 2021. Really enjoy this. Dave, thank you for introducing me to this, because the last movie that you gave me, I didn't like at all. So this was a good rebound back. And that's it, and that's all. So thank you once again, bro. Looking forward to our next collab. This is Rashad G signing out. See you in the next video.
Thank you to Rashad G Reviews for joining me in today's review of Tick, Tick, Boom. I've left a link to his channel in my description box below for y'all to check out. Send him some love. Tell him who sent you. He's got a ton of fantastic content over there, let me tell you. Great guy, even though I put him through the ringer. Though, to be fair, he put me through the ringer making me watch Godzilla. Godzilla? Godfather. Godzilla's good. Why did I say Godzilla? I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. Anyway, I enjoyed hearing your thoughts on this one, first and foremost, and I'm glad that you liked it, given the fact that you haven't liked the other musicals, though I honestly have had fun with each one for different reasons. You brought up Will Smith winning Best Actor at the Oscars, and you know, I thought back to that because I really enjoyed Will Smith's performance in King Richard. I do believe that he deserved Best Actor, but when I compare it to like Andrew Garfield in this, it's apples and oranges, because when it comes down to just proving that you have acting range, I feel like the neurotic persona of Andrew Garfield in Tick, Tick, Boom is better than the emotional performance by Will Smith in King Richard. But again, apples and oranges, they both deserved it. And you said that you don't really have any negatives to say about this movie, and honestly, I don't think I do either. If I was forced to say anything negative whatsoever, it would be that not everything was as good as it possibly could have been. Like, for instance, you'll remember the movie for Andrew Garfield's performance as Jonathan Larson. You'll remember the character of Jonathan Larson because he's very, very unique and different and memorable. But will you remember it for every other actor or character in the film? Probably not. So for instance, my character score got like 3 out of 4, for instance. So it's not gonna get 100%. Little things, little teensy weensy things like that, you know, made it so that I don't consider this a perfect film. But again, little teensy weensy things. So it's barely a difference. So obviously I'm not gonna sit here and talk about negatives with you forever, because honestly, I obviously don't have any. So with that being said, let's take a look at my end score for Tick, Tick, Boom, which I scored an A+ letter grade. Final overall score of 97%. 97 out of 100 possible stars. Taking a look at both my unbiased and biased score down below, you'll see that overall, everything was scored very, very highly and nearly flawless. Because yes, it's incredibly entertaining in general. If you're just sitting there to be entertained by a movie and not actually think about anything, this film is perfect for you. If you are gonna sit there and break it down and try to nitpick it as well, I think you'll also have a hard time because it's also made pretty flawlessly. A lot of great cinematography, amazing editing when it comes down to splitting the story from the actual play, you know, Tick, Tick, Boom, with the true life story of Jonathan Larson, and how they interweave together is immaculate. The performances, the singing, the emotion, the performances, it's next level. And Rashad, The one thing that you mentioned about wanting to see more, I do understand that, but Tick Tick Boom itself was a musical. So I feel like in order for them to stay true to the source material, they could only stick to that musical. They couldn't go further and talk about his life past that. I was completely misunderstanding Tick Tick Boom before I watched it because I thought it was literally a movie about the guy that made Rent through his process of making Rent, which it was not. It was just another part of his life on how he got started. But yeah, guys, let me know what you thought about Tick Tick Boom in the comment section down below. Do you think it should have won Best Picture or Best Actor? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace!